This is going to be a Yin Yoga practice. You might want a blanket and a pillow and a little bit of wall space for the last pose. We're going to start by lying on our backs. You can space your feet wider than your hips, letting your thighs rest in and towards one another. And you can bring your palms to rest onto your belly. Starting to feel the breath flowing in and out. You can start to release the area of your neck by rocking your head side to side, rolling it right to left and left to right. Eventually letting those motions become smaller and smaller until you bring your head back to center. Bring a breath into your belly. And when you exhale, you can release your arms, start to walk your feet in so they're hip distance. Inhale to stretch your right foot up to the ceiling and exhale to cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Leaving your legs in this shape, begin to slowly rock your legs side to side, right to left, left to right. Beginning to unwind the lower back and hip space. You can start to bring your legs back to center, and you might stay here. Or if you want a deeper stretch in your hip, you could start to draw your left thigh closer to your belly, reaching your hands up, interlacing your hands either behind your left thigh or maybe in front of your left shin bone. As you connect to your breath here, you can start to really unwind from around the area of your forehead, the space between your eyebrows, all around the eyes. Maybe you feel the breath working its way a little bit deeper into the region of your hips, your lower back. Connecting to the feeling of softening. You can start to make little movements, releasing your feet, releasing your legs. You might even want to just sprawl out for a moment, reaching your arms up back and past your ears, lengthening your whole body out. And then you can start to bend your knees again, bring your arms down, stretch the left foot up to the ceiling, and then cross left ankle on top of right thigh. Leaving your legs in this shape, you can start to slowly rock your legs side to side. Eventually, start to bring your legs back to center where you might keep them here. Or if you'd like a deeper stretch in your hip, you could start to draw your right thigh closer to your chest, reaching your hands up to interlace either behind that right thigh or in front of the right shin bone. Find a place where you can bring your breath into what you're feeling. But you can also recognize that there is a process of softening going on. You might have just one more easy breath in or slow breath out. Before releasing, letting go, letting the legs lengthen out along the ground, sprawling out throughout the entire body. Becoming more and more present in this moment of pausing. You can start to bend your knees, roll over onto either side. Slowly press yourself up, come around to all fours, tabletop, hands and knees. You may want a block or something that's block-like within reach. On your next breath in, I'd like you to round your back as you breathe in, and then just exhale out through the mouth as you let your spine melt back to neutral. Do that 2 more times. So you'll inhale as you round your back. Exhale out through the mouth as your spine releases to neutral. And one more time, inhaling as you round. Exhale, release to neutral. Take a nice deep breath in here and then start to bring your hips back towards your heels, finding a child's pose. You can position your knees as wide as your body is comfortable. And this might be where you want to bring a block in, something to rest your head onto. You can start to feel in and around your shoulders and chest space, relaxing all throughout the arms. And sometimes it feels good to have a prop underneath of the forehead, just something to let your head rest on. But if you don't necessarily want a block or a prop there, that's okay too. You can rest your head down to the ground. Look for a positioning here where it feels like you're really just melting into the pose, not holding, not gripping, not forcing. So start to let go of the unnecessary efforts when you are breathing out. Even in this pose, you might feel connected to releasing the breath out through the mouth. You can start to make little tiny movements, eventually returning to your hands and knees, walking those knees so they're underneath of your hips. You might rock your hips side to side before coming back to center and tucking your toes underneath of you. You might want to go more into a child's pose as you are practicing this toe stretch. Or you could intensify the stretch by walking your hands back towards your thighs, sitting onto your heels, softening all around your shoulders and your jaw, the space between your eyebrows. Breathing into the stretch of the feet. Start to release, come forward. You might roll your ankles out. And then as you stack your hips over your knees, begin to walk your arms forward, bringing your spine to a diagonal here into heart melting pose. This is another pose where if your head doesn't make it all the way to the floor, you can bring in a block or some kind of prop to rest your head against. You can also rest your forearms or your elbows to the mat. Or as time goes on and the stretch deepens, you might rest your head onto the ground, lengthening the arms forward as you make a lot of space around your chest. Find that balance between sensation and softening. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth. Give yourself just one or two more breaths. Before starting to make little tiny movements as you return to all fours. You can once again tuck your toes underneath of you, but this time it'll be to walk yourself up into a modified forward fold. You'll be standing on your feet, resting your elbows onto your lower thighs, a bend in your knees. Some of you may stay there, and some of you might want to dangle your upper spine a little more, releasing your arms, releasing your head, releasing your chest. You can flow with your breath a little by placing your palms on your shin bones, inhaling to extend your head and chest out and forward, exhaling to fold. Doing that again, inhaling, extending out into a half lift. Exhaling to fold and release down. And connecting to the breath one more time, inhaling, lengthening the spine out. Exhaling, releasing down. Take a moment to really let go around your neck. Exhaling out through the mouth. Before starting to gently look forward, walking your hands forward, walking back down to your hands and knees, and just walking yourself all the way down onto your belly. Take a moment, stack your hands, rest your forehead, breathing in through the nose really deep, exhaling out through the mouth. We're going to move into a side lying pose here by reaching the left arm forward out in front of you, rolling onto your left side. You'll bend your right knee, you'll drop that down to the ground in front of you like a kickstand. And that's where you might want to take a pillow and prop it underneath of your right leg. You might stay here. You might start to drape your left arm just loosely behind your back. Or you may end up wanting to bend that bottom leg so you're extending left leg. You might bend that, reach your hand back to make a hand to foot connection. You can always deepen this pose by crawling your hand further down your foot towards your ankle. Or you might intensify the pose by just very slightly pressing your left foot into your right hand. Some of you may stay in the side lying position, while some of you might find it approachable to allow that right shoulder to roll and drop open, letting this melt into a twist for the upper body. You want to find that place where you are not forcing yourself into a shape. Instead, you're really connecting to this deep internal feeling of unwinding with each breath. Follow the releasing of the exhalation, softening each time you breathe. Maybe even checking in with the space of your neck, of your head, making sure you're not holding there. You could let your head roll a little to the right or a little to the left. Let's connect to one more breath, and wherever you're at, begin to let go. Take your time rolling onto the front of your body again. You can stack your hands, rest your forehead down, breathing into your belly. We'll take this pose over to the other side by lifting the head up. You might pass the pillow that you were using over to the opposite side of your body. You can reach that right arm forward, start to roll entirely onto your right side. Bend that top left knee, drop it down in front of you like a kickstand, supporting the leg with the pillow. And maybe you just drape your left arm behind your back. You can always stay here. This is one option for the pose. Or you might bend your bottom extended right leg, make a hand to foot connection. Follow the path of the sensation in the pose. You might crawl your hand further down your foot towards your ankle. Or you may play around with, for a moment or two, pressing that foot into your hand, taking a breath in and then softening and releasing. You can always stay in the side lying version of this pose, or you could turn this into a twist for the ribs, the intercostal space, the chest, the upper body. By letting that left shoulder relax open more and more, letting your chest naturally melt and roll towards the ceiling. Checking in with the neck and head space, letting the head roll either a little to the right, a little to the left. And really feeling the path of the exhalation, the mind, the attention, just trailing along behind the breath out. Take your time. You can start to gently release out of the pose. Slow down as you kind of figure out how to roll back onto your belly. And then start to bring the hands back beside the chest. You can press yourself up onto your hands and knees just to swing your legs around, coming to a seat. This is where we will start to shift over to a wall space. If you don't have a kind of a cleared wall space, you could use the edge of your couch or a chair. If you are using the wall space, you can bring your pillow over to it, bring your blanket with you. You just want to get nice and close to the wall, sitting sideways, your hips on the pillow. You start to lay down, swing the hips around, extend the legs up the wall. Give yourself some time to shift and adjust. Just kind of feel that your body is aligned. If things feel super tight around the lower back or around the head and neck, if your head is kind of dropping back a lot here, it's okay to move a little further away from the wall with your hips. It's also okay to put a pillow or blanket under the back of your head. And then as you have yourself positioned and adjusted here, at first for a few moments, allow your knees to bend, so you slide your feet down the wall. Your knees open out to the sides of the room. You're in this supported cobbler's pose up the wall. You might just rest your hands onto your belly as you release around your hips. Relax all throughout your jaw. your time, but you can begin to gently move your legs, move your feet. Bring your knees in, extend your legs up the wall. And then, if you want, you can bring a blanket in. You can completely cover up. So, make sure that your feet are covered, your legs are covered, your arms, your chest. You might want to rest your hands onto your belly again. You might want to just relax your arms open. One more little check in with softening around the space between the eyebrows or in between the upper and lower jaw. And start to let your mind follow the breath a little bit closer, not needing to steer the breath, not needing to control the breath. Just like you were trailing directly behind whatever the inhalation is like. And then doing the same on the exhale, truly following that breath all the way out to its soft ending. Feel free to stay here in this pose for as long as you'd like, as long as you can, allowing yourself to rest. Thank you for practicing.